the Algebra 1 Final Exam Study Guide. Number 1 asks you to graph the inequality y is less than 4x minus 2. It's in a nice, neat form for us. Y equals mx plus b. So it tells you what the b value is. B's negative 2. That tells you where to begin. That tells you the y-intercept. The y-intercept is where it crosses through the y-axis. So where y's value is negative 2 is where you begin, right there. Your m value is the slope. Your m value is what multiplies by x. Remember, slope is always rise over run. It is always a fraction. So since we don't have a fraction shown, we're going to create it by putting it over 1. Positive 4 tells you to either go up or down. It's rise over run. Positive tells you to go up 4. So from the negative 2, where you begin, you go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we're on positive 2. However, the bottom number, negative 1, positive 1 tells you to either go left or right. It's positive, so it tells you to go to the right 1 time. Your second point is going to go right there. So you have 2 points. You have your beginning point, and you have your second point now. If this were simply an equation, we would draw a straight line through these 2 points and be done with it. However, it is not an equation, it is an inequality. So the first difference between this one and an equation is, do we have to put a solid line or a dashed line? Which one is it? So is it going to be a solid or dashed line? This tells you dash. Had it said or equal to, it'd be solid. That says just less than, so we're going to draw ourselves better illustrated than I just did. A dashed line through those 2 points. The other part that's different about inequalities from equations is you have to shade one side. We're going to say everything on that side's right or everything on that side's right. You're not just going to guess. We have to determine which side's correct by plugging in one of the points that's not on the line. Remember, the best point to always use, if you can, is 0, 0. As long as it's not on the line, that's the one you want to use. It's not on the line in this case because it's easy to multiply and divide by 0. So when we plug in that value 0, 0 here, we get 0 is less than 4 times 0. Anything times 0 we know is 0. That's why 0 is such a nice number to use, minus 2. So 0 is less than negative 2. At this point, you want to check and see if that is true or not. 0 is less than negative 2. No, that's not true. This gives us a false statement. That means everything on the 0, 0 side is wrong, which means by default, everything the other direction is the right way. So that's how you equate your inequality should look. Y is less than 4x minus 2. Number 2 says simplify the difference. Remember, you can only add and subtract like terms. Means they have the same variable with the same exponent. So w squared, 6w squared minus 7w squared. 6 minus 7 we know is negative 1w squared. Negative 5w minus 2w. Negative 5 minus 2 is negative 7w. And then negative 8, again, minus negative 7. Negative minus a negative. Minus a negative means plus. So negative 8 plus 7 is minus 1. Number 3 says solve and check your solution. Well, we have the square root of this x minus 3. We know how to undo addition, we subtract. We know how to undo multiplication, we divide. And we know how to undo squaring something, we take the square root. Well, the same thing's true when you go backwards with all of that. You undo subtraction by adding. You undo division by multiplying, and you undo the square root of something by squaring it. So if it's the square root on the left, in order to undo it, you square it. If you square the left, you square the right. 4 squared is going to be 16. It'll cancel out the radical on the left. X minus 3 equals 16. And then in order to undo that, all you have to do is add 3 to both sides. And you get x equals 19. And it says check your solution. We'll plug it back in and see. The square root of x minus 3, 19 we just got for x, minus 3 is 4. Is that a true statement? Is the square root of 16, because 19 minus 3 is 16, equal to 4? Sure it is. Square root of 16 is 4, we know. And 4 is equal to 4, so it checks out. Number 4 says solve this using square roots. Well, you know, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. That's great when you simplify on one side. When you have to move something to the other side of the equal sign, you know you got to go backwards. So you look for any addition and subtraction first. You can see plus 16. Undo that by subtracting it. If you subtract it on the left, subtract it on the right. 0 minus 16 is negative 16. You still have negative x squared, or negative 1 times x. There's no more addition and subtraction going on. So you look for multiplication and division. Again, that negative 1 is not written, but it's negative 1 times that. Undo that multiplication by dividing. If you divide the left by negative 1, you do the same to the right. Negative 16 divided by negative 1. A negative divided by negative is a positive 16. It cancels this out and leaves you with x squared. And again, in order to undo squaring something, just like on the last one, we go to the last step. We look for anything that says exponents. We have x squared. You take the square root of it. If you take the square root on the left, you take the square root on the right. It'll cancel out the left and leave you with x. Remember, in this case, when you have multiple choice answers, we know that the principal one is 4, but it's positive. It's also negative 4. So if there's a difference between those two answers, make sure you choose the one that has both of them, the principal and the negative value 4. Number 5, we have 3k to the 6th to the 4th power. Both the 3 gets the 4th power and k to the 6th gets the 4th power. Okay. This is an instance where you're raising a power to a power, so you need to multiply 6 times 4. 3 to the 4th power is 3 times 3, which is 9, times 3 is 27, times 3 more is going to be 81. K to the 6th to the 4th is 6 times 4, k to the 24th. Number 6 says y to the 4th divided by y to the 12th. When you're dividing the same bases, you subtract the exponents. Y to the 4 minus 12 is y to the negative 8th. You cannot leave a negative exponent except when you're talking about scientific notation, which this is not. Everything is considered over 1. Remember, anytime you have a negative exponent, it has to ride the elevator. If it's at the top of the fraction, it's got to go to the bottom. When it goes to the bottom, 1 is left on top. Y to the negative 8 becomes y to the positive 8. 1 over y to the 8th power. Number 7, you have the same exact radical, the square root of 2. So add the exponents. The coefficients. 3 plus 7 is 10 times the square root of 2. That's the simplified version. Number 8 tells you to FOIL. F stands for first terms. 3x times 2x. 3 times 2 is 6. X times x, you add 1 plus 1 to get x squared. The O stands for the outer two terms, 3x and 5. 3 times 5 is positive 15x. The I stands for the inner terms, negative 2 and 2. When you multiply negative 2 times 2x, you get negative 4x. And the L stands for the last two terms, negative 2 and positive 5. Negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. We're almost finished at this point. The last thing you have to do is combine your like terms, 15x and negative 4x. 15 minus 4 is 11x. Bring everything else down, minus 10. And it's positive 11x, so we'll put a plus 6x squared. Number 9 says use the zero product property. Well, it's already factored for you. So you just write this as two separate equations. This first one, 2x plus 4 equals 0. And the second one, 4x plus 7 equals 0. That's using the zero product property. So just solve it as two simple equations, two-step equations. Subtract 4 on both sides. 2x equals negative 4. Divide by 2 on both sides. X equals negative 2. Do the same thing. That's one of the answers. The other answer is to subtract 7 on both sides. 4x equals negative 7 and divide by 4 on both sides. X equals negative 7 over 4. Number 10 says solve by factoring. So basically we're going to do what we did on the last problem right after we factor it. In order to factor this trinomial, we're going to make two binomials. Instead of writing z, I'm going to write x just so I don't mess up, because variables act the same way. X times x gives you x squared. So you want your factors of your c value. You remember your c value is 27. There's not a lot of them. 1 times 27 and 3 times 9. You want the pair of numbers that get you to your b value, 6. 1 and 27 is either going to get you 26 or 28. That's not 6. 3 and 9 is either going to get you 6 or 12. So that's a possible one. It's probably going to be the correct answer, 3 and 9. Once you have the numbers, look at the sign in front of C. It says minus 27. All that tells you is that the signs will be different. If they're different, look at the sign in front of B. It says plus. That means the larger number, in this case 9 is larger than 3, is going to be that plus. They're different, so this one's minus. They're still both equal to 0. Now it acts just like number 9. So you have x, this first equation, x minus 3 equals 0. And the next equation, x plus 9 equals 0. So undo that by adding 3 to both sides. X equals 3. And undo this one by subtracting 9 on both sides. X equals negative 9. Two answers, 3 and negative 9. Number 11 says solve this equation. 4 times y minus 7. You have to distribute 4 times y and 4 times negative 7. Okay, undo your order of operations. Undo minus 28. You get positive 12. Undo multiply by 4. You get positive 3. The difference between number 11 and 12, other than there's no distributed in 12, is there's an x on both the left and the right side. You want to bring the smaller x over to the larger x side. 2 is smaller than 3, so we want to bring that one over. It's positive 2x, so subtract it. If you subtract it there, do it on the left. 3 minus 2 is going to be 1x. It'll cancel here, negative 3. You brought your x to the left, bring your positive 3 to the other side by subtracting it. Negative 3 minus 3 is negative 6. X is equal to negative 6. Number 13 says the perimeter is 72 centimeters. Find the value of x. Well, we know that this value here is the same as here, and this value here is the same as here. So your formula for perimeter is 2 times whatever one of the lengths is plus 2 times whatever one of the widths is, or it's the distance all the way around. That being said, we have a value for our perimeter, 72. So in place of perimeter, we're going to plug in 72. We have a value we'll call 15 our length. This one here, we'll call that length, times 15. Plus 2 times our width will be 3x. So we went from having 3 variables, P, L, and W, to now we only have one x value. 2 times 15 is 30. 2 times 3x is plus 6x. Undo your order of operations. Undo positive 30 by subtracting it. And you get 42 equals 6x. Undo 6 times something by dividing it. You get x's value is 7. Number 14 tells you to solve the proportion. Cross multiply. 10 times 6 is 60. Equals 15 times x minus 8. You have to make sure to distribute the 15 to both terms at the top. 15 times x is 15x. 15 times negative 8 is going to be a negative. We know 5 times 8 is 40. So carry your 4. 8 and 1 is 8 plus 4 is 120. Undo minus 120, undo your order of operations by subtracting it here as well. 60 and 120 is 180. So you have 180 equals 15x. Undo 15 times something by dividing by 15. And x goes into it 12 times. '15 says write an inequality for the graph where you have x, and you have to identify what this number is. It's between 8 and 6, so 7. We know it's talking about all the numbers this direction, so we're talking about the numbers that are bigger than that number. It's not 7, it's negative 7. Make sure you include that negative. All the numbers that are bigger than negative 7. That means it's greater than. Notice it's the same symbol as this one if you get stuck. You have to determine, are we going to make that say, are we going to make it say greater than or equal to or not? This symbol right here, since it's open, notice it's an open bubble, not a closed bubble, means it's simply going to be greater than, not or equal to. It's greater than negative 7. Number 16 says solve the inequality. Well, it's an easy one. Undo minus 4 by adding it to both sides. Negative 9 plus 4 is negative 5. So we have x. There's no reason to reverse the symbol there because all we did was add. You only reverse that symbol when you multiply or divide by a negative number. So x is less than or equal to negative 5. So your number line will look like this. If 0's there, negative 5 somewhere on that side. Less than or equal to means you color the bubble in. That's what this or equal to sign means. Less than means shade everything going that direction. Number 17 says graph the function. Again, it's in nice, neat y equals mx plus b form. Your b value is -3. That means y-intercept tells you to begin at -3. Your m value is what multiplies by x. It's 1. It's not shown. Your m value is 1. It's always a fraction, so it's over 1. That tells you to go up 1 and go to the right 1. So from -3, we're going to go up 1 and to the right 1. There's our second point. We have 2 points. We can draw a straight line connecting through those 2 points. And the equation looks like that. Number 18 says find the slope and y-intercept. Again, nice, neat form. Y equals mx plus b. Don't forget to include the sign with it. Your y-intercept, or your b value, is -2. Your slope, or your m value, is 1/3. Number 19, now you got to write the equation that you see. See what you can identify first. You can see the b value. B value is +1. Check the m value. This point and this point was highlighted for you. Use those. Always use your given values. See how many times. Remember, slope is how many times you go up or down. We're going down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Down 6 means -6. Then see how many times you're going to the right. We're going to the right or to the left. In this case, we're going to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. +4. So your slope is -6/4. The number 2 goes into both. So it's -3/2. So you have your m and your b value. Y, down a little bit. You have your m and your b value. Y equals mx plus b. Leave y equals an x. Plug in your m value, -3/2. And plug in your b value, +1. Y equals -3/2x plus 1. The last one says, what is the solution of the system of equations? You could do this one in 2 different ways. You can move it over and eliminate it, or you can use substitution. If you choose to use substitution, y equals 2x plus 2 and y equals -2x minus 6. It helps to write them side by side. This is your value for y, 2x plus 2. So in place of y, plug in 2x plus 2 equals -2x minus 6. Bring your smaller x over. It says -2, so add it, x. Add 2x here, and you get 4x plus 2 equals -6. Undo plus 2 by subtracting it. -6 minus 2 is -8. And then undo 4 times something by dividing by 4. X's value is -2. So now you have a value for x. Bring that value and plug it back in place of x. Y equals 2 times, we just found out x's value is -2 plus 2. 2 times -2 is -4 plus 2. Y's value is -2. So you have an x and a y value. It's always written as x comma y, or -2, -2.